bacon.
Bacon grease.
Your bacon grease, and I took out about a little spatula. I'm saying probably
Teaspoon?
I'd say 4 tablespoons.
Oh.
Pretty good bit. You covered the bottom of your pot.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Well, you dump your bacon in. That first meat goes in. The bacon goes in. You got your fire pretty high.
So it's frying.
3/4.
It's frying.
Yep, it's frying. 3/4 high. You got a heavy spatula, not one that will bend.
Well, right, I know that. Some people use boat paddles.
Boat paddle, whatever.
Like a mini boat paddle.
That's right.
For the big ones. Yeah.
So you got a thick spatula. Well, there's your bacon and it's frying. You just stir it around, and when that starts to brown, when your bacon is ready,
okay,
you just take your sausage, any of them. You can take the links, but you put one meat at a time in that pot.
Got it.
You got bacon. Then here comes the
sausage,
pound of sausage. That's in there.
Okay, chicken thighs.
You got to just chop it up. It's browning. When it gets golden brown, throw your chicken in. Throw your link sausage in.
All right, we
Keep
got
stirring.
We got it.
You're going to cook on that meat part. If you added it up, I'm saying, 15 or 20 minutes.
Till they're brown.
Everything gets brown.
We got it.
When you get it all brown, onions go first. Onions only. Dump the 4 onions that you've cut up.
Okay.
Dump them over in the meat.
They've been set aside.
Yeah.
They're separate apart.
The onions hit the meat. You stir them around a little bit because your meat try to stick a little on the bottom.
Do you like brown the onions? Is that what you're doing?
Nope. You're letting your onions cook in with all the meats.
Oh, so you got to be in with the meat.
Yep. So you sit there. I'm saying on the onions, you let them stay in the meat until they soften.
You got to get
some. Right. As soon as they soften.
They clear up.
Okay.
The crunch is gone. I'm going to say probably 10 or 12 minutes. 10 or 12 minutes, your onions will begin to...
I'll figure that. I got that.
So you got that. The next thing, pepper and your celery. Put that in there.
And
Stir
maybe
it around
garlic if you want some.
Turn your fire down just a hair, to about medium, a little more, and you're letting your veggies cook. You've already got the onions in 12 minutes or so. They've cleared up. Put your bell pepper and celery in. You stir them around. Wait till they get done.
Got it.
When they get done, what were the other? Oh, chicken.
Tomato.
Yeah, I mean, no, your tomatoes. Take your tomatoes, your quarter tomatoes, dump.
But not quite. You
Just
leave
shy
a little
of a
bit.
quart. Kind of cools down, but you bring it back, and it begins to just
so
cook.
funny.
Yeah,
Now
the
look,
whole thing.
Look.
Now, where's the rice at?
Now, here's the
this
deal.
time?
You've got your meats and your veggies, and they've been seasoned a little bit, and you say you can add like blackened crappie seasoning, a little bit of that. You know, I put in some of my seasoning, Barataria Bay. It's got a little barbecue flavor, a little of that, a little Saskatchewan, that Jay puts on the steaks. I put a little of that. I'm not overdoing it with the season.
It's not highly seasoned.
No, I'm just putting just a little for flavor there.
Okay.
So, you got everything in this thing, and that pot's cooking, and you're letting that cook, all your veggies with your tomatoes. I'd go about 12, 15 minutes, just let it sit there and simmer. Make sure it's not sticking. You always got that big spatula. You roll it. You make sure nothing's sticking.
We got it.
Well, you got that. So the only 2 things left, except the shrimp and all, already have ready about 2 pounds of shrimp that you've
peeled. Yeah.
You got the shrimp there, and in the shrimp, I took 2 racks of green onions, cut the ends of them off.
Green onions.
And look,
shrimp.
And you got 2 racks of green onion with shrimp in a bowl. That's the last thing that goes in. So you got that last.
Now, have you cooked these?
I've already.
No.
Yeah.
All I've done is peel them. So I've got that ready as the last thing you put in the jambalaya.
Because it doesn't take long.
And you don't want to overcook.
You do a dump and you don't go back. When you put the shrimp in, it's over. The cooking is over. Then you just let it rest for 30 minutes. But anyway, you got it all in the pot.
How did the shrimp cook?
They cook in there.
They're cooking in the
For
jambalaya.
the 30 minutes.
Jambalaya's hot.
Well, you said let it rest.
So you got everything in
still
there.
cooking,
Where I stopped a while ago is it's time for the rice. I've got it already measured out, 8 cups in this particular case. I poured that rice over in there. There's fluid that's cooked out of the veggies.
Yeah.
And you started with the bacon. There's a certain amount of fluid. The tomatoes, you got a couple of cups. You probably got 2 to 3 cups of fluid in there. I'm going to back that up when the 8 cups of rice go in there with 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 10 cups of chicken broth. Okay. I got a lot of rice here. So I put that all in there, and it simmers down, but I want to bring that back to about a half throttle on your, a little more than half, maybe just a half on your gas. You got to watch rice because you'll scorch it on the bottom.
Yep. Right.
So when you get everything together except the shrimp and the onions, I put a lid on that. I got the fire on about low to low medium, not like a simmer, but about like this much gas. So I've got that, and I'm watching the clock. I'm sitting at my table drinking a glass of tea, and I'm watching the clock. Every 3 minutes, for 8 to 10 times, every 3 minutes, you take that spatula, and it started out at 9:20 in the morning. At 9:23, you get that lid off, and I go down with the spatula. A lot of fluid still there. It's bubbling. I rake the bottom, and you'll see sometime a little brown on the bottom. No problem. But if you wait 8 minutes, it'll be black on the bottom. Yeah. Too much. So every 3 minutes, I'll roll that, put the lid back on it, and I sit down, drinking my tea. 3 minutes passes, I get up, and I notice that I'm looking, and all that fluid from the cans of chicken broth, it's beginning to disappear. It's beginning to turn just to rice. Right. So you roll it again. You sit down again. 8 or 10 times later, you take a little.
The water's evaporating.
The rice is pulling the water inside itself. The rice is sucking the fluid up. So that's why you got such flavor. Think about all that. Oh, yeah. All that flavor from the veggies and the meats is going into the rice.
Correct.
Rice is a bland grain.
Right.
Yeah. This is the way to kick up a pot of rice. So after about 8 or 10 times, I roll it, I have a tablespoon, and I check that rice to make sure the rice is not crunchy in the middle.
Right.
You want it fluffy. So when your rice gets fluffy, I'm guessing 30 minutes of rolling every 3 minutes, that's about 10 rolls. No problem.
And so from
start to finish, 2
whatever
hours.
Carbs you're gonna attain from the rice, you spend 30 minutes.
You're working hard.
Yeah.
I mean, you're balancing.
You get it down, and when your rice is fluffy on about that 8th or 9th or 10th time when you're rolling it, when your rice is fluffy, you say, no granny, it's good. I don't like a dry jambalaya. A lot of people, the rice separates. I want it a little moist, like yesterday.
Yeah.
So you go in there, and the last turn, you look at it, you check the rice, you say, rice is done. So you dump 2 pounds of shrimp and the green onions, roll that in your jambalaya a couple of times, 3 times, make sure it's not sticking, put a lid on it, and I'll sit there, and you go 3 more minutes. After that last 3 minutes, turn the fire out, leave your lid on. Never look at that. Never say, I wonder what we got. No. Somebody walks in and says, what you got in the pot? I'll give away that pot. Because if they let that lid off, there goes your heat.
Yeah.
So you want your heat, you want your jambalaya to just sit there.
Shrimp to cook.
The shrimp to cook. It's just 3 minutes. You turn the fire out, and you let it sit there, the jambalaya, for 30 minutes. Just let it sit there. Make whatever sides you want for the meal coming up, because this is a good one. And after about 30 minutes, walk in.
No,
your rice
Your
rice is fluffy, and everybody that eats it says that has got to be.
Gee whiz, I thought you were going to tell me in less than a minute.
So look, yeah, really. Look.
No, I didn't.
This is actually a podcast.
2-hour ordeal. Prepping,
yeah.
Add the turning, the rolling, the boiling, you say 2 hours later, you're ready to go. So
it's ready in 2 hours.
It does take 2 hours out of your life, but what better way to spend 2 hours than have a fine, big jambalaya?
So how many